Hello everyone. In this lecture we'll discuss that how we can capture the arguments which are being passed to our mock method so that we can perform the further assertions on the captured arguments. So here when we discussed about the behavior verification, friends, here we saw that when we called book service by providing the book request in the add book method, there was one book created internally to this add book method, and that book was being passed to the book repository save method. So friend, how we verified it was we created our book here, and as we know that when we do verify, Mockito uses equals method to compare this book with this book created internally to the add book method. So friend, here if you see in the add book method, I'll just comment this part, and here let's say now as the price of book is 500, so the save will be called because we won't return from here, and we simply create a book, and whatever we have this in book request we simply set to this book and finally save the book. So friend, here if I run the test case, so here if you see the test case got executed successfully, and it is because though this book is a new book and this book also a new book, they are two different instances of book. Why this verification got success? Because Mockito called equals method on the book and compared the two books. So here if we go to the book, Mockito compared both the books with their price, title and published date. So here if you see, we created this new book with the exact title, price and published date, which we passed to our book request. So friends, if I remove this equals method and if I run the test case now, so here you can see the test case got failed, saying that arguments are different. And yes, they are different because this book instance is very different from this book instance, and there is no way for Mockito to compare these two books. So friends, usually this thing works fine, but there is some better way to do that. What we can do is, let's say I create one package give it a name as argument captor, and what we do is we simply copy the book repository, book request and book service class to this argument captor package, and similarly in our test folder I'll be creating one package as argument captor, and let's say I simply copy this book service test from the behavior verification to the argument captor. So friends, here let's say I remove all the methods and I just keep one method. And let's say I give a name to it as test save book. So friends, here you can see that as this new book instance is getting created internally to add book, so what we can do is we can ask Mockito that when the save is called with this book, please capture this book for me. So once Mockito captures this book for us, in our test, what we can do is after calling this method, we can simply get that captured book and we can perform assertion on the top of it. So we don't have to do something like this here and verify it with this book overhead equals. We can simply capture the arguments when this save is called for this book and we can perform our own assertions on the top of it, that what could be the title, price and the published date. So let's see how we can do that. In our test, I'll simply remove this part. So we have created our book request with title as Mockito in action, price 500 and the published date as today's date. We are passing it to book service add book method. So here before calling this add book method, what we can do is here we can create an instance of argument captor where we can provide the type of capture. So here we provide book, that we want to capture the book. Let's say we give it a name as book argument capture. So from here we can create this argument capture by calling argument capture dot for class method where we can provide the type of class. So here we give book.class. So from here in verify, I'll simply remove this part. So here we have to tell Mockito that when book repository save is called with any of the book, we need to simply capture the book argument. So how we can do it? To this save, we do book argument capture dot capture. So this capture will provide a book to this book repository save when we are performing this verification. So after we get the captured book, what we can do is we can call book argument capture dot get value. So this will give us the book. So friend, we can provide our own assets on top of this book is let's say we called add book method with this book request where title was Mockito in action. So when this book would have been created, the title would have been Mockito in action. So here we simply provide an assert as Mockito in action, and here we would have done as book get title. We import assert equals, and if I run the test case now, so friends, here you can see the test case got executed successfully. So friends, this argument capture comes very handy where we tell Mockito that we have created this argument capture of type book, and in the verification step we can simply capture the arguments which are getting passed to this save method by this syntax. So after getting the captured book, when we do the get value, we get the captured book and we can perform assertion on the top of it. So friend, in this lecture we saw that how we can use the argument capture to basically capture the arguments of our mock method so that we can perform assertions on the captured arguments. I hope you like this video. Thanks, have a nice day.